Yeah, that's very interesting. I mean, let me think about it for a moment, you know. Um, so, you know, because, for example, when I look on Instagram, people posting Black Lives Matter stuff on their phones, they always put a photo of Martin Luther King. And that's fine. I love Martin Luther King. He's one of my heroes, actually. But it feels weird that they post a photo of him in hopes of saying, "Oh no, I'm not racist." I know that's not 100% the case, but yeah, I understand. But it doesn't feel, you know, like it's doing anything. And you know, for me, it doesn't help. It doesn't help me, right? I sound very selfish right now, but it's not going to help me. Well, what is the picture of Martin Luther King going to do, right? And here's my solution. Oh yes, please. Uh-huh.
I was going to say, I think it's really about people wanting to show their allegiance in some ways. You know, if you're a white person who's been brought up in a very white environment, it doesn't necessarily mean that automatically you're a racist, right?
Yeah.
And you're not going to be able to notice injustice and want to somehow express yourself in some way that you are an ally.
Yeah.
And I think there are a lot of, you know, people of different phenotypes who support the Black community. So I'm not going to say, because I don't feel like this is just a Black problem. It's not. It's a world problem. You know, and we start treating people with dignity and respect. We all benefit from that, right? So it's not, maybe then putting that picture of Martin Luther King doesn't really help you or any other Black person, but it helps people to know that this person is an ally, or at least has the potential to be, or wants to be. They want to learn.
Right.
And I think that's a positive thing. I don't think it's good to impose maybe other ideas. But I know that some people are just going to jump on the BLM bandwagon and they're using it for their own purposes to say, you know, perhaps to say, look at me. But we also know that there are a lot of genuine people out there. I mean, you know, the slave trade would never have ended without the help of, you know, white people.
Yeah. And a lot of people kind of forget that as well. And that kind of segues into the topic of whitewashing, as people call it. And I heard this term somewhere. It's a very interesting word. I need to do more research on that. But I'm going to presume, and this is a very dangerous thing to do, to say that, you know, you're shaming and washing/shaming white people. And I think that's just not the right way to go, you know, because, like, again, with this posting a photo of Martin Luther King, it's the same effect, right? What is that going to help me for? And what is that going to do? What are they expecting from that? Maybe saying, oh, good job. I really like that you support Martin Luther King. They're going to feel good about themselves there. And that's fine. I'm not saying that's bad. But then it would be for personal gain. Nonetheless, right? It is personal gain. Every action you do, every action that human does, usually, by the way, has a sign of personal gain.
Does it mean more than if I post a picture of Martin Luther King? Do I have more right to post a picture of Martin Luther King?
No.
Than a white person?
No.
I mean, would it help you more if it was me?
No.
But
why is, well, here's why I say no. Because I see you, this is a weird thing to say. It's like saying I don't see color, but more as rather I don't really care, right? I don't mind that you're Black and that you do this. It's just saying, oh, maybe. So when I see, let's say that I have your Instagram, right? And then you post a photo of Martin Luther King. And I say, oh, yeah, of course, she, you know, there's a high chance that she's experienced racism and wants to, you know, to feature a person who's really fought hard, you know, and subsequently, you know, what's taken his life, right? He's made a sacrifice to American history for combating racism. And that's good. But then I would say, well, was that it? Right? And unless it's like a linking to another saying, oh, what are they called? Like a petition or something, right? Like, oh, here's a photo of him to remind us that, you know, there is a hero. There are people who care, right?
Yeah,
and if there's
isn't that how young people use social media? You know, they're thinking something and they're like, okay, I'm going to put this on social media. Isn't that just this is a reflection of my thoughts? rather than.
Yeah. I mean, I can't really generalize my whole youthful generation, but I mean, it is a high thing, you know, but what I mean is just posting a photo, a black square, for example, or just posting a photo of MLK does nothing. It might spread awareness for a few seconds or a few hours, but then that person will forget it. And they'll think, oh, what am I going to have for lunch today? That's what they'll be thinking later on. Not
you see, you're judging individuals' intent, and we can't know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think the focus for us as people in today's society is to garnish as much support as we possibly can, because people are ready, I think, to hear more about these issues of racism and prejudice in all its forms. People are more ready.
Right. And oh, sorry, I accidentally interrupted. But to give you context, right? There's no link to this photo, by the way. And what I wish to see, right, and this is a very simple thing, is a link, and maybe even if they want to, is to write a short paragraph or a video and really talk about what we can do as a young generation, as Generation Z, right? Not just post a photo. It's not going to help, right? If I was to post one, and I haven't, just because I don't really spend time on Instagram, is saying, look, remember this man? This is a man who fought for racism and who sought to really, you know, to give equality to all races. And, you know, see my view, you know, put my view on there as well. And then put a link and like this movement idea. And this is what I think would be the perfect way to fight racism, is to take out the word. Let's say a local man was arrested. If we put black, it becomes racist, right? It's like this really weird thing, right? People really pay attention to that. It's an angering word. And yeah, and news sources do that. You say, black man was shot in there. What if just saying, you know, for example, if he was innocent, even though the news shouldn't decide who's innocent and who's guilty, in my opinion, you know, saying innocent man was shot something, or a man charged with this was shot here at this time. That is a factual thing. News should be factual, not opinionated.
Should be, but it never, you know, quite often
it's quite often bought by political parties, and I'm very, very upset about it. And so anyway, the best way to fight it is to stop using the race-specific words and say that a man, if the African-American man or woman was innocent, saying innocent woman was shot and killed at this time and then, because that gives that's the anger that needs to be bred correctly. And it gives an incentive to people that think that, you know, it's everything is about race, and then automatically people start feeling that everything's about race, right? And my good friend, right, talking back to the example about the theme park, at the time I don't specifically remember, but it was a racial attack. Oh no, sorry, it was a racial attack on a white disabled child. And that happened, but right after that, you know, there was an African-American who was, you know, stopped by a police officer while walking, and then the black guy shot, and then police shot back, and that footage wasn't used, and then, you know, it stirred up a lot of fake news and things. It's just that didn't happen, you know, misconceptions, not necessarily that they didn't happen. So I'm going to get to my point, right? And so what I mean is just the fundamentals is saying using words that are neutral, so people can think for themselves. No educational system, no one should teach me how to think, right? Or what to think, sorry. People should teach me how to think. Because then if I think, so, oh, God forbid I won't say this, but if I say, oh yeah, the black guy deserves to get shot, he's black, well, what matters about him? I don't understand that, but that's an opinion. And if I think like that, fine.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, on the other hand, I say, oh, that's outrageous. He's black. He's innocent. Fine. They're saying, well, maybe he was charged. Maybe there was a charge. All right. Go ahead and think that way. And that's one thing. And second is to always remember that we are all equal, and to support, you know, and people always say crime happens because of poverty. I don't really understand that. But then if that was the problem, then fix it.
Okay, right? That's an entirely different discussion.
Right, it is, yeah.
Crime and poverty and,
yeah,
you know, generational poverty. But anyway, we are going to have to move on a little bit because
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go soon. So did you want to focus a bit more on Japan? Or?